into a brand new wave, drowning out the noise that's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave, crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe, algorithms new dawn today. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands, revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan, all together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan, in this journey we're unplanned. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
Hey guys, what's going on? Guess what? We're going to learn about knots today, and not just the Android app that teaches you how to tie a knot. Here we go.
The reason I always wear a white beater, oh shit, needs to be fixed. I should be ready more. It's because it's comfort. It's comfortable.
Hmm.
I'm not ready for hoodie weather.
Yeah, well, it is starting to get kind of cold, just a little, but you do have to be comfortable.
We do have to be comfortable. Speaking of comfort, what is a
Are you
knot?
in your comfort zone? Well, knot
you-
is a new implementation that's it's a governance model for Bitcoin Core. There's a competition or a division between how to run the core node operating system for the Bitcoin standard.
Is Bitcoin Core forking itself?
Well, there's some people who feel like that they can have a better mechanism to run the node, and so that's why I brought this up. I've seen it on X a little bit, and I figured we watch a little debate on it and see what's going on.
Will do. Speaking of debate, everybody, we get most of y'all viewing us on X. Why don't you come on over to YouTube? Come on over to Rumble. Follow us on Rumble. Like and subscribe us on YouTube. The links are down below. So go to our Rumble channel, Legacy Right, right there at the Legacy Right on YouTube, and join us. Join us, and let's build something a little bit more special, more interactive too. Because X is just broken, and potentially a psyop.
Shattered into the wind, 1,000 pieces.
Sounds like
that.
Something like that. Who said that?
JFK and the CIA.
Oh yeah, that's right. CIA. The CIA. Although X sounds more like it might be a Mossad op.
Hmm.
I guess you could say the same thing. He was also talking about the precursor to APAC.
I mean, I could see it.
APAC is it needs to be registered as a foreign agent.
Well,
Just like Bitcoin. Yeah. Just like Bitcoin needs to be registered as a Intel superstate operation.
Bitcoin isn't technically an operating system; it's just a framework. But I mean, you need an operating system to use it. So,
Hmm.
tit for tat. I'm just being an
Tit for
asshole
tat.
about myself.
Let's dive in, everybody, and see what this is all about.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Livingston, and I am the Bitcoin Wizard here with Swan Bitcoin. Welcome to what I call the great Bitcoin family feud, though compared to Steve Harvey's show, the answers are considerably more nerdy. Today, we are diving into the core versus knots debate, a philosophical battle that makes Marvel's Civil War look like a friendly disagreement over pizza toppings. Now, before anyone panics thinking this is some existential crisis threatening Bitcoin's very existence, let me reassure you this isn't a splitting the network in half kind of drama. Imagine if your neighborhood had two different brands of traffic lights. They both make you stop at red and go at green, but one might have a slightly different shade of yellow and the other might beep a little louder. The cars still flow, the system still works, but the traffic light engineers have very strong opinions about which approach is superior. That's essentially what we're dealing with here. Two implementations of Bitcoin node software that agree on the fundamentals, but have developed what you might call creative differences about the details. It's like watching two master chefs argue over whether the perfect risotto requires exactly 18 or 19 minutes of stirring. They're both making excellent risotto, but boy do they have opinions about technique. This debate perfectly encapsulates one of Bitcoin's greatest strengths, the fact that it's decentralized enough to handle philosophical disagreements without falling apart. We're talking about Bitcoin Core, the steady, reliable implementation that most of the network runs on, versus Bitcoin Knots, the principled alternative that's not afraid to ruffle a few feathers in pursuit of what it sees as Bitcoin's true vision. By the end, you'll understand why this debate actually represents something beautiful about Bitcoin. It's robust enough to handle different perspectives, flexible enough to accommodate choice, and mature enough that two groups can disagree on implementation details while still securing the same revolutionary monetary network. Now, let's start with some background. Here's the thing about Bitcoin that makes it so beautifully robust: it doesn't rely on any single point of control. Instead, it's powered by thousands of computers around the world running what we call full node software. Think of these nodes as Bitcoin's immune system. They're constantly checking every transaction, every block, making sure nobody's trying to cheat the system. Now, here's where it gets interesting. All of these nodes need to agree on the rules of the game. It's like having a massive global game of Monopoly where everyone needs to agree that you get $200 for passing go, not $500, and definitely not a pizza coupon. So enter Bitcoin Core, the reference implementation. Notice I said reference implementation, not official implementation. That's because Bitcoin doesn't have officials, it has conventions. Core is what most people run because, well, most people run it. It's the software equivalent of that reliable friend who always shows up on time and never forgets to bring snacks to the party. Core has achieved what we might call benevolent hegemony, not through force or mandate, but through trust, stability, and the simple fact that it works really, really well. But here's where our story gets spicy. Bitcoin Knots is what happens when someone looks at that reliable friend and says, you know what, you're great, but I think we could be doing even better. Knots takes Core's foundation, because why reinvent the wheel, but then adds its own special sauce. More features, more configuration options, and what its maintainer considers a more principled approach to Bitcoin's original vision. It's like taking a Toyota Camry, perfectly reliable, gets you to where you need to go, and then having a master mechanic say, but what if we tune this engine differently, added some custom features and really optimized it for people who care about the details. And this is where it gets philosophically interesting, because both of these approaches do have merit. Do you prioritize broad consensus and stability, or do you prioritize principled adherence to what you believe Bitcoin should be? Before we dive into that debate, let's first understand what each of these implementations actually brings to the table. So let's talk about Bitcoin Core, the digital equivalent of the one friend who always brings the jumper cables, never causes drama, and somehow manages to keep your entire friend group from falling apart. Bitcoin Core is what we call aggressively boring. And in the world of money, boring is beautiful. This is software that has been battle tested by millions of users, thousands of developers, and every possible attack vector you can imagine, plus several you probably can't. We say it's the most widely used and trusted implementation. We're talking about a level of adoption that would make social media platforms weep with envy. We're talking about software that secures hundreds of billions of dollars and does it so reliably that most people running it never think about it twice. But here's what makes Core special. It's not popular because it's flashy. It's popular because it embodies what you might call monetary conservatism. Not political conservatism, monetary conservatism. The kind that says, you know what, when we're dealing with people's life savings, maybe we shouldn't ship code on Fridays. Core prioritizes stability and security above everything else. It's the software equivalent of a Swiss bank vault. It doesn't need to be exciting, it needs to work perfectly every single time for everyone. When Core developers are deciding whether to implement a new feature, they don't ask, can we do this? They ask, what could possibly go wrong if we do this? Think of it like this. If Bitcoin were a bridge, Core developers would be the engineers who spend 6 months testing every bolt because they know that millions of people are going to cross that bridge every day. They're not trying to win architecture awards, they're trying to make sure the bridge doesn't collapse. And that brings us to their approach to consensus. Core doesn't just aim for majority.
Isn't that what it's always been about, though? The aspect of divorcing from the old system to prioritize a more stable, secure, transparent, meticulous system of, that's right there, broad consensus amongst developers and users to protect
Yeah.
your assets, to protect yourself from monetary subfusion.
Subversion.
Subversion or suffusion. I mean, so perhaps we're looking when we're going against Bitcoin Core and what it's become, because it has inevitably been hijacked on the political aspect. Perhaps we need to look at what its standard is, not for what the political elite and the intelligence apparatus has done in order to corrupt it for their own bidding. It's not that Bitcoin itself is corrupt, it's that it's being
The people
used
behind it.
by no, it's not even the people behind it. It's that it's being used as a global standard now in relevance towards the old order of monetary assessment that has failed. And they're trying to jump on board, and they don't know necessarily how to implement it.
Well,
But
I mean, they
perhaps we
are
need
a
to,
land bridge.
yeah. I mean, it's a land bridge that connects us from the what ifs towards the endless possibilities that blockchain that was established through the initial Bitcoin network can be. The utility of it is beautiful.
Well, I mean, it's like this. Everyone remembers back in the 90s and the 80s, I'm sure. It depends on how old you are and just if you're watching this video. But people would go and shop like at Kmart and Sears and all this, and they all went out of business with the internet because these are two different, environments to do business in. And Bitcoin Core is kind of like the bridge that could stabilize the two environments to do business in, and these corporations wouldn't be going out of business because they'd be operating under a new kind of framework, a financial framework that maintains their financial strength, a relative financial strength. And so
And speaking, yeah,
everybody who's in the old system, like GameStop, Walmart, they're trying to bridge their network to the Bitcoin network through stable coins and stuff like that, because that's the hot trend right now.
so yeah, the hot trend right now is the stablecoin apparatus. Whether it's a good thing or not, that's to be told in the future. We'll see. I think the stablecoin apparatus is a little too centralized to my taste, but there are other implementations that you can use that can help lead the Bitcoin core network as that true bridge, and that's utilizing decentralized privacy tokenization. I mean, to administer that bridge for what it really is, cycling through the different various networks. Like take Xano, for example, and what it's doing with the Zebra network, right? Xano, a token that can literally bridge between, can be used to bridge between different networks. It's initially on the Ethereum network, but it can bridge to the Bitcoin network, the Bitcoin Cash network. I'm sorry, Xano's on the Monero network. Excuse me. But you're bridging privacy relegated decentralized exchanges and networks with that of more out in the open uh, main source blockchain networks like Bitcoin. And perhaps that's how you meet the overt with the covert, is through tokenizations like Xano. And then with that, using that, you're meeting the real world with the digital world as well.
Yeah, I believe Xano, I'm checking now, is actually on the Ethereum network.
Okay, so I was initially correct. So it is Ethereum network. So
Yeah,
a little too private, in my opinion. That's probably why I kind of made the slip up, and instead I
no,
was wrong and thought it was Monero. But so Ether, Xano is a connector between essentially a tokenization connection between the networks leading into the tie of Ethereum to Bitcoin.
yeah.
And then, of course, you can use it to attach into the more decentralized, like XMR.
Another way to look at this video that we're watching is, like I said, Bitcoin Core is like a land bridge. Maybe you could look at Knot as like a train, like it go under the water from between
Choo-choo.
cities, kind of thing. Yeah.
Like a
So,
channel, a train going through the channels of the Chesapeake Bay,
well, and high
or the
speed
English,
rail, you know,
or
and
yeah,
not to say that
or
Bitcoin is in fact high speed, but you know what I mean. Just
well,
it's
well,
more modern.
yeah, more modern. Like there's like underneath how Britain is connected to France is through a high-speed rail underneath the English Channel. It's called the Channel. Literally a train that goes underwater, connecting Britain and France. Think of Bitcoin. No, think of a knot like that way, being the channel that connects Britain and France, or the underground the underground road networks that go underneath the Chesapeake Bay that connects Maryland to Virginia, the peninsula of Virginia with Maryland, because that's another network here in the United States. We have something similar. It's just not a train.
Just real quick, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm looking it up too. Xano is wrapped on the Ethereum network, so basically
That makes
it's its
sense.
own proof of stake, but I'm not sorry, proof of work, but it is encased in an what's called an ERC 20 token on the
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum network.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. But the simple fact that it's its own proof of work and a token rather than, say, a coin on its own network or fully integrated completely in Ethereum, it can be used as a bridge effectively.
Yeah, well, it can, but it is something you can mine on a regular computer. So it is its own
Yes,
coin size.
it is. Yeah.
So,
That's
but
it's
you want
kind it's kind of the best of both worlds, really,
yeah.
if you really want to think about it.
Do you want to get back into this video here?
Will do.
All right, here we go.
Disagreement, they aim for what's called rough consensus, which is basically saying we won't move forward until we're pretty sure we haven't missed something important. It's slower, it's more cautious, and it's also why Bitcoin has maintained its integrity through over a decade of incredible growth. This conservative approach has made Core the de facto standard, the reference implementation that everyone else measures against. But as you might imagine, not everyone agrees that slow and steady is always the right approach. Enter Bitcoin Knots, and if Bitcoin Core is your reliable friend with jumper cables, then Bitcoin Knots is your brilliant, slightly obsessive friend who has very strong opinions about the right way to do absolutely everything. Now, before anybody gets the wrong idea, Luke Dasher isn't some rogue developer trying to hijack Bitcoin from his basement. This is one of the longest standing contributors to Bitcoin, someone who's been in the trenches since the early days and who genuinely believes that the community has drifted away from certain principles that made Bitcoin special in the first place. Knots is what we call a fork of Bitcoin Core, but not the scary kind of fork that splits
By
the
joining
network.
with Trump.
Think of it more like taking your grandmother's famous cookie recipe and saying, this is perfect, but what if we use organic flour, add a pinch more vanilla, and baked it at exactly 347 degrees instead of 350. Knots includes additional features and configuration options that Core either rejected, postponed, or never considered. It's like having a Swiss Army knife where Core gives you the standard model and Knots gives you the one with 47 different tools, including that weird little hook thing that you're never quite sure what it's for, but you're glad it's there. But here's where it gets philosophically interesting. Knots doesn't just add features for the sake of having features. It emphasizes what Dashier considers principled adherence to Bitcoin's original vision. Sometimes this means being stricter about certain policies. Sometimes it means enabling capabilities that Core considers too risky or controversial. It's like having two constitutional scholars looking at the same document. One says, we should interpret this cautiously, considering how it affects everyone today. The other says we should implement this exactly as the founders intended, even if it's uncomfortable or unpopular. And this is where things get spicy. Knots sometimes diverges from Core on default settings and consensus philosophy. Not in ways that break Bitcoin, they're both still playing by the same fundamental rules, but in ways that reflect different priorities about what Bitcoin should emphasize. So now we have this fascinating dynamic, Core with its broad adoption and cautious consensus building, and Knots with its smaller but passionate user base who appreciate having an alternative that isn't afraid to take principled stands even when they're unpopular. Now, before we get too deep into the philosophical weeds and start picking sides like we're at a Bitcoin Civil War reenactment, let's take a step back and appreciate something beautiful. Despite all
That's
of their
hilarious.
differences, Core and Knots agree on the stuff that actually matters. First and most importantly, both implementations follow Bitcoin's consensus rules. This isn't like having two different currencies, it's like having two different wallets that both hold the same money. Whether you're running Core or Knots, you're participating in the exact same Bitcoin network, validating the same blocks and enforcing the same fundamental rules about what makes a transaction valid. Second, both implementations are absolutely obsessed with keeping the network secure and censorship resistant. This isn't an area where they're competing to be different, they're competing to be better at the same goal. It's like having two different security companies protecting the same building. They might use different techniques, but they both want to make sure that nobody breaks in. Remember, both implementations actually contribute to Bitcoin's decentralization by offering choice. This isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature. The fact that you can choose between different implementations means that Bitcoin isn't dependent on any single group of developers or any single approach to solving problems. In traditional finance, if you don't like how your bank's software works, tough luck. you get what they give you. In Bitcoin, if you don't like how one implementation approaches certain issues, you can literally just run different software while participating in the same network. That's not just cool from a technical standpoint, it's revolutionary from a freedom standpoint. And here we arrive at the juicy part, the philosophical tensions that make this debate so fascinating, because while Core and Knots are playing the same game, they definitely have different ideas about the optimal strategy. Let's start with the governance philosophy, which sounds boring, but it is actually where all the drama lives. Core emphasizes what we might call cautious consensus. They want to make sure everyone's comfortable before making changes. It's like planning a group vacation where you spend 3 months debating destinations because nobody wants to pick somewhere that half the group will hate. Knots, on the other hand, emphasizes principled enforcement. They're more willing to implement what they believe is right, even if it's not popular. It's like that friend who books the hiking trip because they know everyone will love it once they're there, even though half of the group is currently complaining about waking up early. Then we get to the policy defaults, which is where the rubber meets the road. Knots often include stricter filters and transaction policies than Core. Think of it this way: if Bitcoin transactions were entering a nightclub, Core might be the bouncer who checks everyone's ID. Knots might be the bouncer who also has opinions about your outfit and whether you're going to be a good fit for the vibe that they're trying to create. Knots might reject certain types of transactions that Core would accept, not because they're invalid according to Bitcoin's rules, but because Knots considers them spam or contrary to Bitcoin's intended purpose. It's the difference between technically legal and in the spirit of the law. And this brings us to the community trust dynamic, which is probably the most interesting tension of all. Core has broader adoption, partly because it's broader. It's the path of least resistance, the choice that won't get you weird looks at Bitcoin meetups. Knots appeals to a smaller but passionate minority who specifically wants an alternative that isn't afraid to be different. This creates a fascinating dynamic where Core's strength, broad consensus, can also be seen as a weakness by Knots supporters who worry about groupthink and institutional capture. Meanwhile, Knots' strength, principled independence, can be seen as a weakness by Core supporters worrying about fragmenting the community. So we have this beautiful tension between pragmatism and idealism, between consensus and conviction, between playing it safe and standing on principle. So here we are at the end of our journey through Bitcoin's most civilized philosophical battle, and if I've done my job right, you'd be walking away with a deeper appreciation for something that might seem like tech drama, but is actually a masterclass in how decentralized systems handle disagreement. Let me give you the TLDR. Core represents stability, wide adoption, and the reference standard. It is the Toyota Camry of Bitcoin implementations. Not flashy, but it gets the job done reliably for millions of people every day. Knots represents additional features, stricter policy enforcement, and an alternative vision. It is the custom-tuned sports car. Fewer people drive it, but those who do are really passionate about the differences. I want you to remember this after you forget the technical details. This debate reflects a healthy tension in Bitcoin's ecosystem. We are witnessing the balance between choice and standardization playing out in real time, and both sides are making Bitcoin stronger. Think about what this means in traditional finance. If you disagree with how JP Morgan processes transactions, well, you can complain on Twitter, I guess. But in Bitcoin, if you disagree with how the majority implementation handles certain policies, you can literally run different software that embodies your principles while still participating in the exact same global monetary network. Both sides of the debate are highlighting something crucial: the ongoing balance between security and innovation, between consensus and conviction, between pragmatism and principles. This isn't a problem to be solved necessarily, it's a feature to be celebrated. So the next time someone tells you that Bitcoin can't handle disagreements or that decentralized systems are chaotic, you can tell them how two different groups of brilliant developers can have fundamentally different philosophies about implementation while still securing the same revolutionary monetary network. Because that's not a bug, that's proof that Bitcoin is working exactly as designed. My name is Adam Livingston, and I am the Bitcoin Wizard. If you want more daily Bitcoin insights, please like this video and subscribe to Swan Bitcoin. Have a
Like and subscribe to Swan Bitcoin.
Have a terrific day.
Have a terrific day. You okay there, suddenly, Stanley?
Oh man, I'm sorry.
I mean, I understand that. I understand that Cole was was sent to the other side a week ago. He heard
Yeah, well,
he saw the dead people. Now he joined the dead people. Too soon? Was that too soon?
I guess
I
so.
don't.
But
Yeah.
this isn't too soon. This is the current public node running on the Bitcoin network,
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you can see it. You can tell Bitcoin Knots is very much in the minority, 20%, 20.17%.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So,
But they
I mean,
say, just like with any sort of revolutionary change, it's the minority that leads the trek towards the alternative that is to be used.
that's true. I mean, it was a
So
minority that launched the American Revolutionary War. So,
it was a minority that launched the initial fork away from Bitcoin of Bitcoin Cash. So, well, it's now a minority that's leading into this implementation of utilizing the Bitcoin core model, but in a decentralized structural means. And so I think we need to entirely look ever like have you ever heard the saying chaos out of order?
mm,
Perhaps we're living in a cycle where we are trying to we're disingenuous with ourselves. We're trying to distinguish order through chaos, when in reality we should allow the chaos to be embraced, which will
chaos
eventually
brings
lead
order.
to yeah, it brings order. It brings structure because whenever you have this over here and the different patterns and groups and coins or whatever, I mean, different networks, one side's going to teeter towards another side as they understand the relevancy that they're very similar. So then you eventually meet in the middle, and that's where you get order.
Yeah. Well, no one has the same fear. So, you got to think about it this way. These are functions, and it's just how it's gonna work. Because there's always going to be a second opinion about how to address things that you're concerned with, or not address it at all.
I mean, that's the relativity of the Bitcoin movement, of crypto and the blockchain. I mean, it's ever changing. If it wasn't ever changing and people weren't trying to improvise and innovate and create new segments off of it, then it wouldn't be a success. And everybody wouldn't be flocking to a new standard to escape what is inevitably going to collapse. And that's the fiat monetary system that we've essentially been forced into for the
Born
last
into.
56 last no well, you and me, yes, but for the last 50 years. And I say the last 50 years because that's when the true fiat scale system, which doesn't really scale, was born in
Right.
1971. I mean, and fiat will never be able to scale because it's fake and gay and retarded. And this house
Just like the
needs to
government's
enlighten.
authority.
Well, yeah, just like the government's authority. What is authority? What is government? I mean, governance models, whether it's in the realm of blockchain or in the realm of your community creating their own rules and regulations. I mean, it's just based on your subjective idea of how things should run. Take an HOA, for example. There are many different HOAs. Not every one of them are the same.
That's
Some
right.
of them have, yeah, some HOAs are more stricter than others. Some have really strict bullshit regulations where you can't have a garden gnome. Sorry, Nomi, a garden gnome on your front lawn, or else it's a violation. And some allow you to, be left the fuck alone. Just
It's
pay your fee.
it's a waiting pool. There's a difference.
Hmm. I mean,
going to get rid of me. Oh, I think he's going to get rid of me. Well, you know who I'm not getting rid of? Bitcoin.
I'm back. Yeah. So, anything else on the not versus core drama?
We'll see
Can
what
we call it
happens.
drama?
I mean, maybe it'll lead to a hard fork, and that would be kind of interesting to watch.
That would be very interesting because I think a hard fork for Bitcoin takes Bitcoin back to what Bitcoin should be, the initial white paper. Let's we'll be watching, and we will be seeking guidance from the almighty Bitcoin gods.
Fuck.
Gotta throw them in there every once in a while.
Anything else? Anything else to say on the matter today, Andrew?
Not today. Check us out tomorrow. We're going to be on World Blockchain Roundtable and discussing. Well, we'll keep that secret until tomorrow. It'll be quite interesting.
It'll be very interesting. So check us out tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on World Blockchain Roundtable, live on YouTube, X, on a whole slew of channels. So don't miss World Blockchain Roundtable. At least jump onto the Dragon Chain Network and check it out. And in the meantime, check me out live, because this isn't live, everybody. Check me out in, I guess, at this point, less than 2.5 hours, so about 2 hours and 20 minutes or so. Check me out with Mark Pools and whoever else joins. Hopefully Andrew joins for like 15 minutes.
I got an hour.
We will be talking with Per Bylan. So over on the Not Conscious and on Mark Pohl's channel on X, on Rumble, YouTube, etc., etc. I don't know if it's going to be on his Not Conscious or If by Whiskey, but just keep a lookout for either one, and check that out at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Nice.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Me too. Somehow we're going to probably drive into AI.
Could be.
Yay.
It's the future.
The future. You know what else is the future? Bitcoin,
What?
baby.
Yeah. Hey, I think I'm ready to go party. What about you? Here we go.
You delayed too much.
Bye, guys.
Bitcoin, baby.
Hey, yeah, this is Bitcoin. I'm back. The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this Bitcoin, baby. I'm back in this bitch. Flossing fast cars and rolling with my clique. The king of the rap shit, the real OG. Whack ass rappers got nothing on me. Bought another Lambo, 3 hoes inside it, 10 hoes in line, ready to ride it. It's Bitcoin, bitch. Keep the track bumping. Really on the plug. I got pies in the oven. 80 years old, and your baby mama fond of me. All she wanna do is smoke my broccoli. Private jets from Rome to Ibiza. Lisa, Jenny, Julie, and Maria. Every day I gotta give thanks. I got bitcoins in the bank. Bitcoin, baby. I'm back in this bitch.
Bitcoin, baby. Oh,
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Bitcoin, baby.
The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this bitch. Axe your grandmother. Verse 2, coming with the gin and the juice. Call me a drag, spit flame in the boot. I'm hot, like a thermos full of coffee. So hot, can't get the hose off me. It's true, I got the weed card and shit. I'm smoking like a motherfucking chimney, kid. Bitches love me, my shit's never whack. Tell these motherfuckers, Bitcoin's back.
Bitcoin, baby.
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Hot like hot coffee. Oh,
Axe your grandmother.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this bitch.
Get your hands in the air. Put your hands on the car. Put your two hands on the rock. Put your two hands on the rock.
Bitcoin baby.